This is Will Cook of the Will Cook Group. Welcome back to my video blog. Today we have a special guest from Premier Plus Lending, Brett Hertz, and we're going to discuss what's going on with home lending. Thank you for joining us today, Brett.
Thanks for having me on.
Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about your experience in the mortgage industry?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I have been a lender for about a decade. Previously, I started off in the commercial lending space, so I'm working with developers, apartment loans, small business owners, and then eventually transitioning over to home mortgages for the last several years. My team and I do about 400 loans a year. We process and push out about half a billion dollars each year. And so there hasn't been, a single situation that we haven't been able to figure out or oddity that we have not seen before.
Great. Well, I'll tell you, I think there's a lot of chatter going on right now about mortgage rates, especially the highs that they're hitting right now. And I was wondering if you could give us your perspective in terms of where do you think rates are going to go for the rest of the year and possibly into next year, and what's going to affect that?
Yeah, so right now we actually did hit the 16-year high for treasury rates on the 10-year. This is the biggest indicator for actual mortgage rates. So we were at the highest level since 2007 as of today. The industry as a whole, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, does expect things to come down by the end of the year and then trickle down into the low sixes, high fives by next year. But right now, we are floating around the high sevens, with some people with lower credit scores being into the eights. It really depends on the product type, the property type, and the down payment amount.
Have credit standards gotten tighter? Has it gotten more difficult to get a loan?
It has. So guidelines are a little bit more strict. There are still options for people, building back up their credit. It really just depends on the situation. So there are credit repair companies and people like me who do work with the clients to build back up their credit and let them know for sure. The nice thing about a mortgage loan is we are able to submit it into underwriting to know with certainty at the pre-approval stage if they can get lent to or if we have to wait and fix something.
Got it. I know there are loan products out there right now that might help with the rate or the down payment or the monthly payment. Can you talk a little bit about what's available right now?
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is what's called seller buy downs. So this is where an agent such as yourself would build into the offer price a credit from the seller. This credit can be used towards buying down the actual rate on the loan by up to 3% in the first year. So as an example, if we're purchasing a property for $750,000 and we get enough of a credit, we can actually get the rate 3% lower in the first year, 2% lower in the second year, and 1% lower in the third year. This savings actually accounts for about $1,300 a year in the first year, then $800 in the second year, and about $400 in the third year. So it's a huge opportunity for people to build this into their offer, save money over the next few years while we ride out this high interest rate environment.
And as a percentage, how much are you seeing that happen right now in terms of the percentage of loans that you're doing?
I'd say about 80% of the loans I'm doing, at least in the initial offer, the credit is asked for. So it's up to realtors such as yourself to educate the listing agents and the sellers as to why we're doing this. Because the upside to a seller or listing agent is if you give them this credit, they are not going to walk away from that deal. You're handing them a big opportunity, and with rates as volatile as they are, the seller knows they aren't going to walk away. They're happy because they know that their deal is going to close. So it's a win-win.
It definitely sounds like a win-win. I have actually recently, with you, with your help, we've closed a loan in the last couple of weeks that had a credit buy down, and it was a win-win for both parties. And I think there's an exponential number. I think if you equate, let's say, a 30% buy down on $1 million home, it's the equivalent of, I don't know, $200,000 price reduction.
Right.
Just with the rate, just in terms of the rate being reduced and the monthly payment coming down.
Yeah, so the reflection really does come down to that actual payment rate. So there's one thing with the note rate being higher and then the actual payment rate. The calculated amount is, you are correct, right around 30% savings.
So if buyers are looking right now, they're not sure exactly, if if what their what they need to do in order to get a loan. As you mentioned earlier, lending standards may have tightened a bit. Are there things that buyers can do right now in preparation for buying a home? Like, what are some things that they should be doing?
Yeah, right now the easiest thing to do is checking on your credit. So you have one free check on freecreditreport.com to get a full credit report. That's really important because you can see any underlying issues, old collections, any kind of late payments that you didn't know about that you may want to address. Next step would be talking to a lender. So it's a very easy process talking with a lender. You provide some documentation, you give them some information, and we're able to do things now with a soft credit check. So there's really no impact to you other than potentially wasting 15 minutes of your day on a conversation. With the soft credit check, we can see any underlying issues, we can check all of the credit scores, and then see your income to see what you qualify for now, or if we have to work towards qualifying for something else later on. So right now, I would say check your credit, talk to a loan officer, make sure to do a soft credit check, and then actually look online at the calculators to see what a realistic monthly budget that you're comfortable with is. We all spend time looking at Zillow and Redfin before bed, looking at $1 million houses, but not all of us actually look at what the payment's going to be.
Got it. Great advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Brett. If the viewers have any other questions, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can email me anytime at bhertz@ppluslending.com or text or call me day or night, 818-726-2929.
Excellent. Thank you. And to our buyers and sellers, if you're looking to make a move right now, we'd love to have a conversation with you. So please feel free to reach out, call, text, or email us, and we'd love to talk to you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.